Today I'm going to show you how to change the top torque bracket on a white block Volvo engine commonly found in the P80 body style vehicles. Mine is a 2000 V70, which is a wagon, non-turbo. The turbo engines also have this bracket, but there may be some extra stuff in the way that you have to deal with, but the basics are still the same. This repair is very simple. You only need a few tools. This nut is 15 millimeter. So you'll need a wrench and maybe socket to fit that. On the other side, we have a 13 millimeter. The other thing you'll need is a T30, a Torx 30 bit to remove these bolts on the ignition coil cover. Here's the info printed out from the Volvo software, or I guess Vita package that shows you just basic information. It says the torque bracket for the B5244S engine, which is the one I have. So basically it says torque bracket A. These are the bolts that go into the engine itself, or the cylinder head, and they are 50 Newton meters or 37 foot-pounds. And then the screws for B, you do this, it's 35 Newton meters or 26 foot-pounds plus an extra 90 degrees of rotation. Okay, so first things first, let's take off the ignition cover and coil cover. You'll see what happens here is this, you can't really get it past here easily, but actually I think if you just kind of wiggle it out, we won't worry about taking this piece off. And now we'll break loose these bolts. Just get them loose. There we go. 1, 2, 3. That one's loose. Okay, now this reminds me, we'll relearn this every time I do it, but it's very difficult to get to this bolt right here with the bracket in the way. I guess that's why I usually take this bracket off completely. All right, so I've got a 15 millimeter combination wrench put on this side. This is a 13 millimeter socket, and let's see, we will just break this loose as well. Here it goes. There we go. So I can remove this bracket. I'm going to go ahead and remove the bolt under here. It's pretty tight. I think it must get some corrosion from the way it's positioned. Anyway, I got this breaker bar. Pop it loose now. There it goes. And now that it's loose from the breaker bar, I'll just back it out with this little impact gun. You can see once you get that off, there's a lot more room to move around. And here is that bushing. It's totally failed. All right, and now that this is loose, should be able to get in here, yeah, and break this off. We go. Okay, then take your new bracket and put it in position. But before you put the bolts in, you need to look. There's two different lengths. You have some longer ones and shorter ones. The longer ones go here and here because they're not threaded right at the top. They actually go down and thread in lower. And then the shorter ones go on this side over here. So you would do a long one. Again, make sure to start the threads always with your hand before you really put any kind of torque on it. So we'll get these down up to the point where we need to torque them. According to the specs, these bolts go to 50 Newton meters, 37 foot-pounds. I always just stick to Newton meters, it's easier. And I kind of do a diagonal pattern, this one, that one, this one, this one, when I do this. I just tighten down a little bit until you get close to the torque. Alright, so this one's ready to torque. Final torque I'll do. This way. That's it. Now I'll reinstall this screw and bolt that goes up into the firewall bracket. I won't torque it yet because I want to get this in first. And now I'll put the bolt in. It goes through the torque mount. There's that. And the nut. So I've got a 13 wrench and a 15 socket on my torque wrench. My torque wrench is set to 35 Newton meters. Again, that is 26 foot-pounds according to the Volvo documentation. And when it gets snug, okay, it clicked there, but I'm supposed to go another 90 degrees of rotation. So we'll take this breaker bar, and if it's here, I just want to rotate around till it's pointing out this way. That's close enough. That's it. That's 90 degrees. Now we can't forget, we need to torque the bolt on the firewall bracket. And the specs aren't here, but I'm going to do, I'm probably going to do just 35 Newton meters as well, plus a tiny bit more. Alright, so I'm going to take my 14 millimeter and just snug it up. And now if I can get in here with this wrench. Okay, so that's 35 Newton meters. And I'm going to see if I can get almost a quarter turn. Here we go with this breaker bar. That's going to be good. Okay, so the last thing to do is to replace this coil cover, little plastic piece. Make sure you check that these tabs, there's 3 of them here on mine, go inside here. I went ahead and loosened these two Torx 30 just a little bit to give me a little wiggle room here. Made it, I think it's going to make it easier. And look, I'll take the cap off, the oil cap. Just make sure you don't get anything down in there. And then pull that hose out of the way and twist it a little bit. You're good. We have to take these Torx 30 screws and put them in. Again, starting the threads by hand. It's not really a critical part, but it always sucks to cross thread things. Now these aren't tight, so in a minute I'll finish tightening them. These probably can just be hand tight. I mean, they're not, it's just a cover. I do have the spec in a sheet. I gotta go get it. Okay, so I found my old torque sheet, but it says timing cover upper 8 Newton meters, and this should be the upper timing cover. So 8 Newton meters, not very much at all. And just for the sake of it, we'll do 8 Newton meters and see what that's like. Barely anything. Okay, so this is what the finished job looks like. We're back to having good support for the top end of the engine. Alright, that's it. That was a pretty easy repair, and you can do it yourself. If you've got one of these P80 Volvos with the white block engine, you're going to need to do it at some time or pay somebody to do it. For me, 20 bucks for the part in about 30-45 minutes maybe, getting all the tools out and putting them away.